And it looks like we are live. Hello and welcome. I'm Alexi. I'll be the MC for this game. The game we are playing here is Checkpoint Midnight Waltz of Treachery, and this is Season 3, Session 4 of 4. That's right, it's the finale, not only of the season, but of the quarterly, because this has been a quarterly series we've been playing. So for the past 3 months, we've had a total of 13 sessions, I think, of this series of Checkpoint Midnight. And it's all very exciting that we're coming to the grand finale right now. We're playing this game through the Gauntlet gaming community. You can learn all about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com or by following the Gauntlet on Twitter at GauntletRPG. The Gauntlet is a cool community of folks playing indie role-playing games. We've got many, many games hitting the calendar each and every month. And coming up in October, there is a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend. This is basically our annual Gauntlet Con has been incorporated into our broader open gaming program, and it's going to give you a chance to sign up for free for games being run by Gauntlet community members or other folks who are running indie games in this space. So definitely follow the Gauntlet and check out the Gauntlet's website to learn more about that. Anyway, the game this evening, Checkpoint Midnight. Checkpoint Midnight is a game in development, a game that I am developing. It's a game about supernatural operatives in Cold War Vienna, juggling loyalties, running missions. It's been pretty cool playing this so far. If that sounds like your jam, if you're interested in learning more, you should follow me, follow all my gaming endeavors at Cloven Pine Games. Anyone watching the video can see I'm wearing my exciting Cloven Pine Games t-shirt. But you can learn all about Cloven Pine Games by following Cloven Pine Games on Twitter or checking out some of my free Cloven Pine Games offerings on itch.io. That's all under Cloven Pine Games. And for Checkpoint Midnight specifically, there's a list you can sign up for if you'd like to be kept in the loop. It's you can find it at bit.ly/Checkpoint Midnight List, capital C, capital M, capital L, and I'll put that link below this video. But that's enough about me for now. Let's go ahead and meet our players. We've got one player who'll be joining us a little later, and we'll have him introduce himself when he joins in. But let's introduce the players we have, and I'll ask folks to say your name, say your pronouns if you wish, your online handle if you so desire, and anything else you want to mention. Here at the end of this quarterly. Puckett, why don't you go ahead and start us off, and we'll come back around for characters after player intros.
Hi there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Happy to be here. Sad it's ending.
Happy to have you here too, Puckett. Leandro, you're up next. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Leandro. Use he, him pronouns. Pretty much in the same mood as Puckett. So rather than deal with that right now, instead I'll plug another thing from the Gauntlet Open Gaming Weekend. Because I already plugged the thing I was running last week. Instead I'll plug something that actually is also running. Sorry, I'm just looking at my tabs and like, what's the random game? Oh, there we go. If I remember correctly, actually, you're running 2 sessions of your Powered by the Apocalypse game of nuns and creepy horror action. Autumn Triduum. How do you pronounce that? I apologize. Autumn Triduum.
Autumn Triduum, yeah.
Triduum. That's really cool. 2 sessions that, both of the first one's on Friday, second one's on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Got it.
If I'm converting what I'm looking at right now, because it's telling me my time zone, and don't do what I do, which is play on what time it is right now.
No, nicely done, Leandro. Yeah, that's exactly right. People should definitely check out those sessions. I'm excited to run it's a 2-parter during Gauntlet Community Open Gaming. I really appreciate the plug. Last but not least, Mark, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. It's also Kai. That's spelled Xai. You can find me online at Kai the Gamer. And I am only here, honestly, because there was a gap that I think Leandro could not play in the first month. And you allowed me to come in, and then you let me join the crew in addition. Even though there were no spots left. And for that, I thank you very much. I've enjoyed this quite a bit. And I can't wait to see what happens tonight.
Thanks so much, Mark. It's been great having you and great having your character. Speaking of, let's meet these characters. Going back around, Puckett, please tell us about Jack, the unburied rebuilt.
Jack is, basically a collection of parts made up of various soldiers who were found in bits and pieces on the battlefield, stitched back together by a madman who apparently didn't stop at him and raised a bunch of other undead. But Jack's purpose was to die and return to his eternal rest. Now that he's found out that he has nightly blood animating him, things may not be quite that simple. So that's an interesting conundrum to visit. But he still wants to ensure that Dr. Thorne creates no one else like him.
Absolutely, yeah. If we were going to get like a tiny highlight reel, just giving us a sense of some of what Jack's been up to during this quarterly, what do you think we would see on that?
Well, I think that bit from the last episode where he charged into that mansion on a literal nightmare, flaming horse, chucking grenades everywhere, guns blazing, that probably would have been pretty high up on the list, and I'm not sure that so far there's anything that tops it, because you wouldn't know what to think of it from the first part of the quarterly when Jack took out a bunch of cops on the street because they were war criminals. But he spent most of the rest of the series talking to people and trying to get them on side and building, well, a little army, as it turns out.
Yeah, he has recruited some folks. Absolutely. Well, great to have you, Jack. Let's meet our next operative. Leandro, will you tell us about Emilie, the artful favored?
Yeah, Emilie Landau uses she/her pronouns. Favored in the sense that she has been gifted a supernatural amount of luck that has kind of propelled her into trying to basically be on top of the weird Vienna underground that we have with all the supernatural nonsense and Cold War shenanigans. Obviously, that luck came at, well, not really a cost, more like at the expense of being in a relationship with a rather power-hungry woman by the name of Victoria, who is seeking the throne of night, and that's not metaphorical, that's literal. And yeah, so what we've seen of Emilie from this quarterly is she started as quite ambitious, arrogant, very kind of full of herself, and that over the course of the months has been slowly whittled down as other people prove to be more capable than her, more connected perhaps, or there are forces that are still kind of beyond her. It's all just kind of steadily whittling her down, even as she tries to figure out the best way to prove her power, her worth. I'm not sure. She's been through a lot, basically.
What would we see if we got a little highlight reel for Emilie?
I'm trying to think of moments that legit make her look cool. They're few and far between. She did get captured and stuffed inside a bag, thrown into the sewer, had to be saved by Skye. She did fall off.
Were you driving the van?
Oh yes, yeah, driving that truck to save Skye, repaying that favor. That did
driving
happen.
The truck out of and then back into a burning warehouse.
Yeah, it worked out for everyone involved. Yeah, but most of it, I think, it's a lot of tense conversations. Maybe a dance at the park. Maybe some flirting at a ball. A rather bloody murder in a basement. Ups and downs, no creamy middles for Emilie, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And her conscience has really been through the ringer as well. That's great. Let's meet our next operative here. Mark, will you tell us about Dr. Skye McTaggart, your elemental Rusalka?
I'd love to. I use they them pronouns because I always forget to mention that at the beginning. And Skye uses she her pronouns. And for reasons undetermined, maybe Dr. Thorne wanted to use my body for an experiment. I was drowned in the sewers of Vienna post-war. I had been a doctor in the Scottish military during World War II, and I came back, and I found an affinity for the waters of Vienna. Let's see. I've danced with Jack to violin in the morning. I've had an evening with Emilie, which was beautiful. I've leapt into a roaring river to appease it. And I may have created I'm going to say I survived an army in a dam and performed a miracle, at least in her mind. So
Yeah,
those would be the highlight reels.
You awoke Rosamund Thorne, daughter of the infamous doctor, from some kind of a cursed half-life that he hadn't been able to free her from. So she is extremely grateful for that, and we'll see how Dr. Thorne reacts to this new development. I owe a love letter to Emilie, because Emilie, you have opened up your dossier from your kind of Soviet side handler.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking part of this is that a little bit of time passes after the extremely dramatic events of our last session, that with the aforementioned party ending in a nightmare, riding into this manor as Jack just deals death in every direction, and Emilie steals what she can, and the whole thing's left a smoldering wreck. I think a little bit of time passes, right? Between that incident and between kind of us picking up, so we can get a sense of what characters are up to in the meantime. I don't know, Emilie, what would if we got just a little montage then leading in here? What do you think Emilie has been doing since those dramatic events?
Small actions. I think we get just shots of things have calmed down finally for once. So it's just a lot of maybe some small talk with some folks at Checkpoint Midnight, maybe some visits to Ashley's grave, maybe more haggling with Charlotte Vogel, because that's still that's slightly too mundane for Emilie at the moment, but it's nice to have to deal with her for a bit. Yeah.
I mean, if it's a nice break for you, maybe you finally do set her up with a chance to perform at last.
Yeah. It was well within Emilie's capabilities. Just she had other things to deal with, like an ex.
Yeah. Well. Well, speaking of all the things Emilie has to deal with, let's turn to that love letter then. I have put this into our love letters document for the series. Let me just pull that link out again and put it into the chat in case that makes it easier to see this. But I'll read out loud the opening of this. So, dear Emilie, or rather Wisp, things have gotten strange since the night of the party. Half your criminal contacts in the city have gone cold, stonewalling or ghosting on you. You wonder if George Dixon is punishing you for what he perceives as your failure to take down the mansion's wards. Mark 2 stress equal to Dixon's leverage for abandoning his mission. You have succeeded, however, in collecting the globe of ancient winters for Malashka. She arranges to meet you at midnight by the Fountain of the Blind Shepherd. You can tell she's arriving when the water freezes over. Always one for a dramatic entrance, that Malashka. Her first reward for you is the NKVD's file on you. Looks like they've been watching your career with some interest and think you're especially recruitable now that apparently you've been burned by the CIA. They've also been keeping tabs on Victoria, whom they codenamed Dusk Drinker. They're clearly scared of what she's capable of. Malashka cracks open the globe and drinks down the swirling blizzard within it. She lets out a satisfied sigh, and her breath is a visible flurry of cold in the air. Then she offers you a kiss. You've helped me recover a sliver of winter that had been hidden away. You deserve a taste of that power, my dear Wisp, she says, more matter-of-factly than flirtatiously, you think. So what'll it be? Forehead, hand, or lips? And now for the, move in the love letter. When you receive the kiss of winter, roll plus dreamer if it's on the forehead, plus operator if it's on the hand, or plus fable if it's on the lips. Do you want me to go ahead and read out the effects, or do you want to just look them over and then make your choice and make your roll?
Wow. I'm glad you picked the stats I actually have points in. Thanks for that. I looked over the results. And I was thinking if I do get a 7 to 9, it'd be kind of boring if it happened to the forehead. So forget that. Unless for those who are reading 7 to 9, it's like unless I roll better than 7 to 9. At 7 to 9, that part of your body's permanently chilled. And unless Emilie's looking for a particularly frosty forehead to use, as a headbutt, that's probably not what she wants. That's not what I want for her anyway. It's ungainly.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Despite everything, Emily's still a drama queen at heart. She's gonna go for the lips.
Yeah. I wondered if that's what might happen. Roll plus fable.
Okay, glad I put at least 1 point in fable. See how this goes. Wow, that's a 12.
Okay. This kiss goes really well. On a hit, you feel a new power crystallizing within you. Describe how the power of winter complements the blessings you've received from Victoria and from the Golden Apple.
Okay, so this completely does not jive with the move I took from my last advance, which lets me appear out of nowhere.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, we can. We could bridge those, right? Like if you want that power to be connected to the winter winds or something like that, then
that I was thinking, because for those who aren't watching, the move I took is called Out of the Woodwork. I can appear in a situation or scene suddenly, and a roll plus fable to do that, which is fitting with this love letter that just happened. Let's see. Describe how the power of winter complements the blessings you've received from Victoria and from the apple. So Victoria's given me luck, and the apple has given me the ability to read objects. And I think, I like the idea of the winds helping here. When it's especially cold and bitter. I think I'm gonna have to think this over.
You definitely think over exactly how the powers fit together, but kind of we know from the roll that Emilie kind of not only receives this blessing but holds her own, right? You're not lowering your guard to Malashka, despite her glamour and supernatural allure, but you're taking this kiss as your payment and the power that comes with it.
Maybe actually
for a picture of this.
Now I think about it, actually, how she appeared by freezing the water and kind of appearing out of nowhere. Maybe it's an aspect of that. It's not really the winds, but it's also a bit of what Skye can do, which is the water stuff. Except maybe this is how Emilie now. Colder.
Yeah.
Through reflective surfaces, where water's around or mirrors are around.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, kind of stepping out of a shiny cold reflection. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Emily, somehow you rolled really well when you were seeking to take in kind of new power, like when you ate that piece of the golden apple. So I have to commend you for that. All
How
right.
did that happen?
All right. Looks like we have someone joining in. Hey, how's it going, Jesse?
Hello, I am okay. How is everybody else tonight?
We're doing well. Do you mind if we just turn to you and have you introduce yourself and introduce your character?
Absolutely. If this is an appropriate place to do it, I am Jesse. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Joske Rabinovich, a Polish Jewish Holocaust survivor who has spent some time both before and during the war. Before and after the war, fighting for various causes across Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean. And he has settled into the one cause that he really cares about at this point, which is the hunting Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, there is a plot of Nazis along with Nightmare Fae to pull the Nightmare Realm and the historic lands of the Germanic peoples together, and so create a fitting home for the master race. It's nasty, ugly Nazi shit. And the problem is, well, at this point, frankly, most people do believe him. At least most of the people around him, but a lot of people struggle to believe this story. Joske's
People don't want to believe.
Yeah. We've had some things. Some shit has gone down. Friends at one time friends with everybody, although a lot of those former friends don't like him much anymore. I believe the last one is that Death wants him dead.
Yes. Yeah. Most recently, we've learned that Death herself wants Joske dead. He's cheated her in the past, apparently.
But we are old friends. We've spent a lot of time together. It's not super pleasant, honestly, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think. I'm currently a servant of Night in my capacity as an agent of the CIA.
Yeah,
an asset of the CIA.
There's some collaboration, it seems, between the American government and the Realm of Night.
Yeah, collaboration, usurpation, unclear.
So if we had, I've been asking folks if we saw some highlight reel footage from the adventures of this quarterly, what would we see for Joske as far as a little reminder of some of the adventures he's gotten into.
Oh my. I think you'd probably see a few things. You'd see probably the first shot would be him sort of cocky at the beginning, dressed to the nines, smoking a cigarette at that art auction, followed by him falling off a building after being accused of murder. And then I think we would probably cut to the finale of the first season, or the second season for the quarterly, but the Joske's first season,
right,
where Valentine gave him to Night as an asset, and he accepted. Valentine was going to do it, and then he's just invited it. It was a meeting of the minds in some ways.
Yeah, Valentine thought he was throwing Joske under the bus, but Joske was more than willing to accept a little more power in exchange for this connection to Night.
Yes, and then I think probably a quick montage of running into old friends,
including a bear.
Yes, and maybe a quick drink with Victoria,
and then we see you like clinking glasses with the bear. We see you dancing with Victoria. We see you kissing Yelena's hand and then like feeling the effects of the poison.
Yeah, I think it just cuts straight from that to the explosions at the party, and then to a heart-to-heart conversation with Skye.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a highlight. Fantastic.
A lot of highlights.
We are basically still kind of montaging in a little bit. We're getting a sense of some of what's gone down, because I'm saying that some time passes after the wholesale destruction at the party at the mansion, and so we're getting a sense of some of what the operatives have been up to. Let me turn to Jack. Jack, thanks to your your good work convincing Herr Franz, the checkpoint midnight, this cafe that serves as a neutral ground for the supernatural beings of the city, has become a sort of a treasury, right? Like you've brought this basin of night. You've possibly brought other artifacts to the checkpoint, and you offered to help guard them. So how have you used your various contacts to make sure Herr Franz has the backup he needs to secure all of these highly sought after items at the checkpoint? And you can answer in the form of a montage if you so desire.
Well, simply put, I am calling on my CIA contact, Trip. I'm calling on my KGB, on Lena, my KGB contact. I am calling on every unusual person I have met. You might see Ofadar wandering around in there. It's a mixed bag of people. There is indeed some strangeness, and the back entrance, that little ramp down to the basement, has been quite busy. And it's kind of funny because there's usually a few shifty-looking people standing around outside it smoking cigarettes with suspicious bulges under their coats.
So you're just making sure there's some guards. Yeah. Well, you have been developing these contacts for a reason. I think Trip seems a little out of it as you reach out to him. He seems kind of down, but yeah, you definitely find folks who are willing to help out, and Trip owes you one or two from times past, so he will take his shift.
Besides, it's something that's too cool not to be part of. I mean, it's like a secret society within the various secret societies, kind of trying to basically just trying to like work their little fingers into the crevices and the nooks and the crannies of post-war Vienna to try to tilt the balance of power their way. And he's actually in on the real balance of power.
Insight into the real side, the real face of the city. Wonderful. Skye, I want to turn to you just to get a sense of some of what you've been doing since the since the events at the mansion and the hydroelectric dam. I'm especially interested in where you have put Rosamund Thorne, who woke up under your care without other places to go in the city at first. So yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that quite a bit, and I have not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about that quite a bit, and I have not come up with a good answer. So, I think we end up at a church, and I'm going to have to hope that Dr. Thorne will not send the Brute Squad into a church. We will see, but I'm standing outside the church, and I'm smoking a cigarette and thinking about miracles and thinking about what it is
Got
I
it.
want to do. Now, if Rosalind is not up for that, like I will respond to that. But if she understands why I'm trying to keep her away from her father and is agreeable to it, then I'll do that. But if she's not going to be agreeable to it, then I'm not going to do that.
She cares about her father. She
What
also
happens
knows
is
that he's, arguably a mad scientist. So I think she's up to, to avoid the this reunion till she feels it can happen more on her terms, right? So yeah, if you're kind of bringing her to sanctuary somewhere and then just making sure to keep eyes on that, that works for the time being, I'm sure. Yet anything else Skye is up to in this period that you want to mention?
I think I've asked Joske to get us some food at some point. So I'm sure there's a rendezvous with him where we have a short conversation. I let him know what's going on with me, and I ask him what's going on with him. But his friendship is one of the rare things I have right now. So I wish to endear himself to me even further.
Yeah, got it. I think you'll get messages from two people who are glad to have learned you're back in the city. Your Soviet handler, Yelena Kosakova, send you a message saying that you have much to discuss, and she has a way to help you get that revenge you seek. And another message comes, in neat handwriting from Val Atkinson of the Birkenfeld Consortium, who kind of drops some knowing hints in this letter that make clear she kind of has figured out you stole her book about dragons.
Yep.
But she's willing to let bygones be bygones and work with you if you'll work with her, because she thinks that the consortium has resources it can offer you, and you might have skills that can be of use to the consortium.
Yeah, I figured out what my code name is with Val.
Okay.
So making fun of me in terms of what I did with the book. I'm St. George.
Hey, that's great. Yeah, and that's the type of literary illusion that the Birkenfeld Consortium would go for. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Let me check in on Joske, because Joske indeed had a sort of a love letter that had been opened but not rolled last time around. A dramatic one. You were taking the fight to the conspiracy, since the CIA knew about a stronghold in the realm of dreams, where several of the Führer's favorite occultists have retreated to regroup with their otherworldly allies. And your handler, Skilla, pulled the strings to put you at the head of a squad of American troops tasked with storming this dream castle. If you want to give us any sense of what Joske is like as a leader of troops, please do so, because I'm very interested in how this in getting a picture of this playing out.
Right. So I mean, Joske has been a soldier. Like we've talked about that a little bit, but he's always been kind of a guerrilla, right? I think even the brief moments when he spent in the actual armed forces of states or proto-states, he wasn't, he was always sort of in the irregular troops. So I think he's never been an officer. He's never been great at following orders, and he doesn't really expect. So
to be giving orders.
Yeah. I think that a lot. I think he probably invited Jack to tag along if Jack or Jack is kind of an advisor if Jack is free and willing. I don't know what Jack's been up to during this time period.
We can bring Jack in here.
I just feel like if Joske was going to get involved with an actual military operation, he would get Jack involved. Like that just seems like the obvious.
Yeah,
I mean, Herr Franz and the rest are certainly competent and capable enough. They can deal without me for a few days.
At the very least, asking Jack for advice, if not bringing him along. Let's say it that way.
Do you honestly think that I'd let a friend of mine go into combat without going with him?
Yeah, I don't actually know.
Here's the question, Joske. Is it like particularly difficult to bring Jack into the realm of dreams, given his strange kind of betwixt and between nature?
So, I mean, I have a move for that. Right? Hold on one second. Actually jumped on so quickly I didn't open the character keeper. But the labyrinth move allows me to bring people with me into night at least. I don't know if we want to complicate this with more roles, but like I'm certainly able to do it with difficulty. Let's say it that way.
Yeah. Cool.
Or at a cost.
You know what? Let's just to keep it simple. Do you mind just marking a stress to represent that cost?
Absolutely.
We'll say that yes, Jack can come along, and of course, you really couldn't ask for a better person than Jack for storming a Nazi fortress, even one inside the realm of dreams. So smart recruiting there.
Yes, I'm happy to mark a stress for that. I think that makes a ton of sense.
We're embarking upon a siege of a castle.
It seems like it.
Well, in that case, I might as well bring Misty, the nightmare.
Is that what you've named your nightmare horse?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes any extra work to bring a nightmare horse into the realm of dreams.
Oh yeah, it's native territory, absolutely. All right, Joske, do you want to roll for this to see how this attack goes?
Yeah. Hold on, sorry. Yes. Let me just pull open the. Sorry, I jumped like right on, and so I don't
no worries.
any of the stuff open.
I'll do a little scene description as well. I think this castle, right? We know this is a castle within the realm of nightmares that these nightmare fae, these elves, as you've described them, have created. So I think it's got like kind of basically towering ivory spires, right? Like everything gleaming, everything shiny and sharp. And then the occasional red banner, possibly they've adapted their Nazi insignias with like more occult runes spiraling off of them, but it's still like recognizable that this is a readout for remnants of Nazi forces regrouping with these friends on the other side they've made. All right. Joske, you ready to roll this?
Yep.
See how the siege goes?
And it's plus nothing, right?
It's plus weapon, which in your
weapon.
case is 1.
It's 1. Okay, that's not bad. And that's still a 5.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh yes.
On a miss, they strike back, and your allies are not prepared for the nightmares that are unleashed. Fill your stress track and mark a condition as you limp back to Vienna. Most of the men who went with you are dead. You don't like to think of what's happening to the others.
I do not know. Okay.
Give me a little sense of like how this debacle goes down. Like what's the warning that they ignore that is part of this is part of this terrible outcome.
Yeah, I think it was just like I think it's a couple of things. I think first of all, probably bringing Jack across didn't go great. Just in terms of like I think I wonder if like because right that move that moves people into night moves people into not into nightmare, it moves people into the realm of night, which is also the realm of death. And I'm wondering if, like, just like trying to move him through there into Nightmare just didn't work, right? And he ended up getting booted back out. So I didn't have his help, and I was like, not sure how to use other soldiers. Like, it was really, I think, a personal failing, in a lot of ways, and they were ready. I don't know how. So when you combine the fact that, like, they're the ones in the castle, we sort of decided instead of the, like, I had Jack, I had these troops. I was like, we're going to do a full-on assault, right? Which was a mistake both for my skills and also for the situation, really. And I think, and they were ready for it. Yeah, I think all of those things are what sort of led to just this route.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what condition do you mark?
I think it's probably sleepwalking. I think this has like hurt my, like losing a battle like that in the realm of nightmares, and like just that whole thing probably like hurts my ability to walk in dreams in a real way, and probably makes my nights rough. There's like a psychic scar there too?
Is it also that kind of you look a little like not all there, just like walking around the
I think that's what that's exactly what it does, right? Like, I'm not sleeping. When I sleep, I end up like half in nightmares, but not completely. I can't sleep, and so I'm awake, but I'm never fully awake because I can't sleep. Sort of
Macbethian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll pick up with like a kind of, just shell shocked, bleary eyed Joske on the somewhere on the streets of Vienna, right? Because like just trying to get his head clear in the wake of all of this, but there's like you said, a psychic scar. I don't know, anything to add to the picture?
No, I think that's really it, and I think that's exactly where I'm at, right? Like I'm just like wandering the streets of Vienna. I think like it's in my head, I'm kind of doing the rooftop patrolling thing, but I'm not, right? Like this is not actually my I'm not actually.
Not your beat.
It's not my beat. I'm not like in a state where I'm actually like able to like really to refresh in the way that move should allow me to do. I'm like kind of just like scrabbling for that kind of sense of
going through the motions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you hear a voice say, "Joske, is that you?"
Well, who is it?
It's me. It's Dika.
Oh, Dika, it's been so long, and
you look awful.
I feel awful. I'm awful.
You're not awful, but this city has been bad for you, Joske.
This city's treated me okay. I think it's what lurks here that's the problem.
You're still fighting all of these wars in your head, and she like kind of like ruffles your hair, not ungently, but she's clearly upset by the way you've been treating yourself from her perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like lean into it, but I don't lean out either. I say I'm fighting the war because the war needs to be fought.
She says, "Listen, Joske, it's been a long time coming. I'm leaving Vienna. The city isn't safe. It isn't a haven like it promised. Half those people in that building, they never woke up after that that sleeping plague. I've got a second cousin who's in the United States. There's places for people who are lost there. I'm going to go to Chicago. You should come with me. You shouldn't stay here.
You know, she's speaking for herself, right? There's no hint that she's representing the right.
She's
yeah.
speaking for herself.
I say, I can't. We can't let them win. They'll come to America soon enough. They would have the first time.
Is this making a stand?
I mean, I don't care if she goes. I actually think I let me say that differently.
Okay.
I say, I understand it's not your fight. You should go where you're safe. But for me, I can't let them win. They came close enough the first time. So, I mean, I'm not trying to stop her from going, but I'm not going to come.
Yeah, I think she'll push just a little more because she has 2 leverage on you.
Yeah.
Just to say, Joske, I don't know how many times I've had to patch you up from what you've put yourself through. If I go and you're left here, who's gonna put you back together when you throw yourself off of something? And I think she's pushing you to, hopefully come with her, but she's taking away, weasel out and brazen it out. So your remaining options are promise something else you think they want, or the cut a deal one where you give them more leverage,
or give up my leverage on them.
Yeah,
I think I have. Let me double check
I don't
that.
know if you do, just because the way that relationship question that created her is.
You're right. I don't.
she's patched you up multiple times.
Yeah. I say, listen, this is what I do. I say, listen, Dika, I appreciate it, but I do have other friends here. And, well, crap, I don't even have leverage over, what's her name? Over Skilla. Oh, here's the play. I have leverage over Valentine. I say, I know someone who has connections that can get you to America, connect you with your cousin. He's a little hard to find right now, but he can be dug out, and he'll get you home. Just remind him that I'm trying to remember why I have that leverage over him.
I think because you knew about his sneaky business.
Right. Just remind him who never got in trouble with the cops.
She looks a little skeptical about this friend's help, but she kind of.
He knows all the ways in and out of town.
She pats her shoulder. She says, "Well, they are locking things down more and more, so I'll accept your friend's help. I hope you find something that gives you peace, Joske."
I'm less interested in peace than I am in, well, really just getting rid of all the Nazis.
She can't argue with that.
I've heard a rumor there's some in Illinois. Watch your back.
She says, I can take care of myself. Be safe, Joske. And she will leave. Presumably to when she can get help from Valentine to leave the city entirely. Jack, if I turn to you, it sounds like you were all ready to charge in and back Joske up, and then something went wrong with the movement between worlds here. And as far as you know, the Joske and all of the men with him may have met a terrible fate. Let's check in. Let's check in with you. What's Jack's next? What's next for Jack? Given that worry, in addition to any of the other worries and responsibilities he feels. Puckett, are you there?
Sorry about that. Had my headset mic up. Is that better?
Yeah, now we can hear you. There we go.
Okay.
I was asking what was next for Jack, given the many responsibilities he might be juggling.
Given that I can't really see a way clear to help Joske, I'm going looking for Skye because I have an idea.
All right. Yeah, we'll say it doesn't take you too long to find Skye kind of pacing nervously in front of this church. Is that right, Skye?
Yes. That's correct.
Yeah, you see Jack approaching.
I pull up alongside in a car that I've quite clearly pilfered or borrowed for the day. Say,
I walk up to the passenger door, and you roll down the window, I guess.
do you have some time for you today, Skye?
Yeah. I figure if it hasn't happened so far, oh God, if I leave her and he comes for her. I need someone to guard this church. If
What's
you want me
going
to
on?
go. Well, I'm just making sure that if and when Rosalind meets her father, it's on terms that are at least equal, if not in her favor. I don't want that monster taking her back.
Are they meeting here?
Who knows what he would do to her? The meeting hasn't been set up. No. I'm waiting to be reached out to.
I see. And I tap on my wrist phone. Trip.
Dead man.
Need a favor from you.
Oh, another one.
Well, it's either you or Lena. And I figured you'd probably like it if I called you first.
I appreciate it. It's just things are not great. George is not happy with how the mansion was. The British are asking a lot of questions. We're not really supposed to be just killing their citizens willy-nilly. Well, I might be looking at a reassignment. We may not be able to work together too much in the future, Jack.
Trip, that is absolutely preposterous. You and I will be working together for, much to your misfortune, many, many years to come. Rest assured, George is going to take the hit for this one, because George is the one who issued the order. That was George taking control of the op. And, well, he took control of it, and he made demands, and he got exactly what he asked for.
He doesn't see it that way, Jack.
Well, he doesn't have to. And Trip, trust me. There will always be a place, I should say, for you. A plate and a place next to me. But here's what I need. And rest assured, I'll be thinking about how to get you what you need, or at least what you want. I'm at a church. I need to borrow one of my associates, and she needs to remain here because she is organizing a meetup with Dr. Thorne. I just need someone here to act as the point of contact. Just a body. Any old body will do.
You need me to send you an asset to stand guard at this church and collect messages for you?
Yes. Like I said, a body, any body. Just as long as they're hopefully warm, breathing, and can take a message and pass one on. They don't even have to. They don't have to know any tradecraft. They just need to be able to stand here.
I'm gonna ask you to. I think you are in fact putting pressure on Trip based on your leverage. So I'm gonna ask you to roll for it.
Can I roll with Dead Man?
Interesting. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's usually be roll plus leverage, but if you're willing to give him leverage to roll with your code name, that can work.
All right. I am really glad I did, because that brings it to an 8.
I see. Well, now we get into into how leverage works here. On a 7-9, they could, if they want, they could comply, but they could also weasel out by giving you leverage they hold on someone else, or cut a deal by giving up leverage over you. Now, you may choose to give up a leverage to push the result up to the next tier, right? So if you give up your leverage on Trip, you'll instead have the 10+ options here, where he can choose comply grudgingly or gladly, or give you something else that's even more costly.
It is the last session. Yeah, I'll give up that leverage on Trip.
Yeah, nice. So how do you kind of make clear that you're cashing in, what he owes you for some of your past work together?
Trip, listen. I know working with me hasn't always been easy, but you've learned a tremendous amount. I want to continue working with you, and as far as I'm concerned, you are the only person at the CIA that I will work with. They can either keep you in your position, as it is right now, and I will tell them this, or they can lose me as an asset for good. I'm sure the Russians would be more than happy to have me. So let me make this clear. If you do this for me, and this is a really small thing, we're square. You and I, we're even Steven. And we can just go back to being the friends that we were before.
He laughs, seemingly genuinely amused by this, but he says, that's fair-minded of you, Jack. All right, I'll pull whatever strings I've got left.
Trust me, you're gonna have some more strings in the not too distant future.
So we'll fade out on Trip relays to you that he's got a grunt headed over to
St. Stephen's.
To St. Stephen's.
St. Stephen's?
St. Stephen's Church, and then Jack and Skye, you'll get your chance to put your heads together. For the moment, though, I'm going to call for a break. Let's rejoin at 10 of the hour, maybe. All right. See you all then. Are we all back? Oh, actually, I need to step away and do one thing. Sorry, this should take just a minute. All right, now I'm actually back. Apologies. Let's start getting going. Joske, where do you end up, given the like sorry state that we saw you in, but you've decided not to call it quits on Vienna. So what do we see next of Joske?
I don't know. I suspect I'm thinking and this is maybe like, I know I've made a food delivery to Skye at some point in the past few weeks, and I think my feet just kind of like in this sort of dazed state lead me by the church.
Oh, got it.
Right. Is Skye still there? I forget. I didn't entirely follow what the negotiation with Jack was in that scene with Trip and this church.
Yeah, sure. Jack, it sounded like you were pushing on Trip to get someone assigned to watch the church so that you could pull Skye away for a different purpose.
Yep.
Cool. Do we want to say that Joske, arrives like just as Skye and Jack are leaving and leaving a?
I kind of like the idea of getting there and she's not there.
Oh, that works too. Yeah.
I kind of like if that's what's sort of been going on, and that's Jack's first move, then I think I don't make it in time, which is fine. It's not right. There's no. I think I sort of see that there's a CIA guard out front, right? And I don't. Maybe I'm worried she's been burned. I don't know exactly what's going on. And then maybe I go looking for Emilie.
Of all people.
Of all people.
Emilie, where would Joske maybe find you?
Probably at the checkpoint.
Yeah, maybe I don't go looking for Emilie. Maybe I just go to the checkpoint as like, okay, well, hopefully Skye's there and safe or whatever.
I mean, I kind of like that at the end of his rope with a feeling that there's no one else to turn to. Joske's like, well, I guess Emilie, right?
I can imagine that happening when he sees her, though, as opposed to.
Sure, yeah. Emilie, if you're at the checkpoint, Joske comes kind of sleepwalking in, right? Like he just does not look like he's in a really like together state, right? Like he looks the worst you've seen him.
Yeah.
Are you what? Are you just nursing a coffee? Like what do we see for Emilie at the checkpoint?
Yeah, I think it's just like I said at the start, her routine has just become a bit mundane lately. So she's just here nursing a coffee, probably was just out forgetting some of the nonsense for the past few days. So
your conscience buzzes normal at you a little bit, saying, "It's your friend Joske. He looks like he needs help."
Okay, Constance, what did we talk about when it comes to Joske. I say it once, I'll say it again. Friend is stretching it.
Yeah, and I sort of like shuffle over, I would say.
Mhm.
Definitely, like, obviously look like shit. And flag down the waiter for the largest quantity of espresso he is willing to give me. I start to like jeer, like with a sort of shaky hand, light a cigarette. I haven't said anything to you yet. If you want to sort of start talking, you can. Otherwise, at some point, I'll probably jump in. But I'm just like sitting there, kind of like shell shocked.
Oh, you look like shit.
Thanks. Is it that obvious? And of course it's that obvious.
Well, you're normally a man of incredible elegance and subtlety, so something must have really.
I'm very
gotten
happy
to
you've
you.
noticed, Emily. And I finally get the cigarette lit. I take like a deep drag, and there's this thing someone once told me, which I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems plausible, right? Which is that the reason that cigarettes have a calming effect on people isn't the nicotine, right, which is a stimulant, but just that like it gives you opportunities to stop and take deep breaths. Right. And that's like very clearly what this is. This is like a moment for me to stop and just breathe in and breathe out, exhale the smoke away from Emilie, of course. And I say, I'm in it deep, and I think the whole city's in trouble.
Really? The whole city, in between death cults, art Nazis, fairies going in and out, creatures of the night going in and out, the east and west locked in their death spiral.
Well,
now
to be fair, it's like 3 of those things that you listed all together. And it's not that the city is still in danger, but 3 of those things that you just listed, the nightmare stuff, the art Nazis, and probably another one. I'm not sure, but probably another one of them also are coming with renewed strength.
Not that I'm not concerned
Joske.
about this, Jack. After all, Joske. Sorry. I said Jack. It's late where I am. Not that I'm not concerned about this, Joske, but if you're talking to me about this, either you're really spooked out about this, or everyone else was too busy to talk to you.
And I sigh and take another deep drag on the cigarette. And I say, the first one is definitely true. I am really spooked out about this. The second one, I don't know if they're too busy or not, because I don't know where they are. But I know one thing about you. And it's that you always land on your feet. And after this last one, I really need to stick with someone who's going to land on their feet. That would be helpful.
Joske, just to check, are you using leverage?
There's a couple of things. I think I didn't do it so forcefully, and if you want me to be more aggressive with it, I can. I think
Just checking what the intention is.
Yeah. So I think I hit prophetic there.
Oh, got it. Yeah. One of your release moves.
Right, to knock down a stress.
Impress upon someone the dangers of the conspiracy. That tracks with the warning you're giving here.
And then the question is, am I using leverage? I do have a bunch of leverage. Yeah. I think I am. And I'm not. I mean, to be honest, like, I'm not. Like, I'm being sincere here, right? Like, this isn't. In as much as I'm using the leverage I have, which I got from. My notes tell me I got that leverage from. I'm not sure what. Interesting. From something. From end of session moves.
Yeah, possibly just from kind of slowly getting insight.
Getting to know who. Yeah, it's exactly getting to know who Emilie is and what she's about. And I think this is like, I'm being, in as much as I'm using leverage, it's like, I know this thing about you that is true and powerful, and I want you to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Leverage isn't always a positive relationship, sometimes.
And you've got a mutual connection to Victoria, which might be part of the situation as well. So excellent. If you would like, you can tell us what you want from Emilie, and then take away some of the alternatives and see what Emilie chooses if we want to lay out the leverage move here.
Yeah, what do I want from it? I mean, it's weird, right? Because I don't know that leverage is the way. I don't think I can do this with leverage, right? Because what I really want
is a friend.
Is like a friend in this situation, right? And there's no question I fucked that up. And I think I'm just going to say some of that. I think here's what this is. I think this is going to end up being make a stand, but I'm going to use my leverage to. I mean, depending upon how Emilie responds to what I say, she may decide I don't need to roll. But if she wants me to roll to make a stand, maybe I'll use my leverage to get a bonus in that rather than directly use leverage.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think like, pressuring someone through knowledge of them is a great way to make friends.
Yeah.
It's taken me a little while to figure that out.
When you make a stand to sway someone to your cause, roll plus streamer, that does sound like it fits, and you can definitely, if you touch on your leverage a little, get an advantage on that. And I say it's worth it to to do it, right? Like,
right. I want to play. So I say that I need someone who's always who always lands on their feet. And I say, listen, Emilie, I know I'm a difficult person to get along with. I get that. And Valentine and I had this whole thing where we would go back and forth, and it was banter, and sometimes it was cruel and sometimes it was funny, but like that's who he was. And that was a friendship, I think. Even at the end there, we were together in that. And I guess I thought you were like him. But you're not, are you? And so I'm sorry for casual cruelty, thoughtlessness. This isn't. I have a lot of friends, and a lot of them want me dead, and there's a reason for that. And I just don't. I can't fix it with them. Maybe I can fix it with you. and I'm making a stand to sort of like, I guess, win her over as my friend. But like also to sort of like have like, I mean, it's I want her on my side in this conflict. Like that's really like that she'll help me out. So there's like there is a kind of instrumentalism in it too that she can definitely pick up on if she wants.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is you can't force someone's hand. You just kind of clarify their options. So if you roll plus Dreamer, and I think take an advantage for using your leverage on this.
Yeah, do I have to spend a leverage for that?
No, I think the leverage sticks around.
Great. In that case, I will do that. So that's 3 dice. And I get +2. So it's +3, so it goes up to an 8.
Okay. Well,
that's 5 + 3 is an 8, but oof.
I'm glad your Dreamer helped you out there. So when you make a stand to sway someone to your cause, on a hit, you command their attention. PCs who follow your lead can clear a condition or mark XP. So that's the carrot. On a 7 through 9, if they don't follow your lead, they mark a stress or at a disadvantage acting against you. So Emilie, what do you do after that heartfelt appeal from Joske?
I think Emilie is sipping her coffee, looking quite thoughtful. After Joske is done with his speech, I think she says, "Well, I'm glad you acknowledged that you're crap at this at the very last minute. Given your pitch to me is essentially, hey, can I be with you so that bad things don't happen to me?" Which, maybe a good luck charm from the vendor by the corner can achieve as much effect. Can go for the same effect, but as you said, my luck is well documented, and the good luck charms they probably sell in the corner aren't. But that's essentially what you're pitching me, Joske. I mean, if you go to Jack, you want to get stuff done. You go to Skye, you want to get stuff done. You go to me, you just want to have me around, not for what I can do, but just what I have.
There's that, but look, help me, don't help me. The ask was definitely in overreach. You're right, like you said, I'm crap at this. Mostly I don't want to leave someone else behind me who hates me. Like, and not because I'm scared. I have enemies, and I can handle my enemies, and I can handle my friends who want me dead now. But because I'm tired of being a person whose friends turn into enemies, and you don't deserve the way I've treated you.
Okay, if I were you, I'd work on my definition of what a friend is. I think yours is a bit looser than everyone else's definition.
Yeah, what'll it be, Emilie?
Yes, I'm at this point in my life where making enemies isn't really the most fun thing to do. Truthfully, I don't know if I ever even considered you a friend, honestly. So you telling me that you do better, well, I think other people would have more faith in you being able to do that than I do right now. But I'm not an idiot. If you say you've pissed some really bad people off, well, you're not gonna make that up for shits and giggles, are you? Oh, well, thanks for telling me anyway. I'll keep an eye out.
So I can't tell. Are you following Joske's lead or not here?
Emilie will. She just doesn't want to hang out with Joske.
Okay, she's not going to be like friendly about it.
Right. It's interesting because I'm not sure what was the more important part of that question, right? like what Joske wanted was forgiveness, which he has not earned and quite frankly does not deserve. So
I can stress.
but at the same time, like, will he settle for help? I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And I say, and I think what I say is, look, thanks. You're right. I haven't been a friend to you. I thought this was a kind of friendship, but clearly I don't know what that is. All I can do is try to do better. And I offer her a cigarette at that, which I know is not actually the thing, but
just a gesture.
Yeah.
Okay. So Emilie, what do you think it ultimately is?
Yeah, it's I think she'll follow Joske's lead.
Mm-hmm.
She'll take the cigarette and put it in her purse.
All right, you can clear a condition or mark an XP.
I have a few conditions. I think I'll just mark an XP. I'm 1 XP away from retiring Emilie, so
everyone's so close to retirement here. As you put it in your purse, you see the that little black book of Victoria's. It kind of a little like kind of extra shadow seems to like pulse around it, and that that some sort of task for you has been added.
Yeah, I think I feel that, and I'll just I need to read this immediately, so I'll just say excuse me from thinking to use, points to the restroom.
Yeah, so you excuse yourself to step away.
Yeah.
Take a look at the journal.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously on the first page, the Lady Aurelia Falkirk is now neatly crossed out after you dealt with her in a permanent fashion, and a new name has appeared. Again in Victoria's handwriting within this book, and it says Herr Franz. What do you do, Emilie?
I'm gonna write in the notebook, and just say, "Can we talk face to face soon?"
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm picturing it like the old-timey version of texting where you see a dot in ink appear for a moment, right? But that's just to amuse me. In a moment, a message appears back to you in the notebook, saying, "You know where to find me."
I have to get our third man on, don't we? Yeah, I think Emily's just kind of sigh and would just say be there soon. I think she'll close the notebook and just gesture to Constance and just say what do you think?
I don't think you should kill any more people, especially not kindly proprietors of a checkpoint that has been such a haven for you.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously right.
Yes, I'm your conscience.
Well, if I was speaking to my conscience, what would my conscience say I should do?
I don't think it's a good idea to keep working with Victoria. She's bad news, Emilie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just once you're kind of in with her, you don't get out unless you say so. That's how I got out, because she said so.
Can't you just say so?
Well, I'm some up jump Austrian girl. She's some malevolent lady of the night.
There are people who would say you're a malevolent lady of the night, Emilie.
Do you know these people? Because if so, I would like to meet them.
I mean, there was the lady you killed at the mansion. There's the CIA. There's just a lot of people who seem pretty scared of you at the moment.
Well, that's good to know. If Victoria is just like me and is all just an inflated reputation, she'd be much easier to deal with.
Do you want to put a pin in the scene there? Anything else you want to do?
Yeah, no, I think that's good for now.
I want to check with Skye and Jack. Jack, you were turning up in a possibly stolen car to whisk Skye away. What was your plan there? And we can either play things out or montage things as is interesting, right?
On the drive, I explained to Skye what I learned from my Russian dossier about having the blood of a immortal knight in me and not being able to actually die unless I find someone else willing to take that burden on.
Mm-hmm.
They say, so this may seem like a fool's errand, looking for a needle in a haystack, but that's why I brought us here. Hustadlwasser, I believe it's pronounced. My Viennese, my Austrian is not very good, even now. But I believe loosely it means haystack pond.
Okay. You've driven to a pond?
Skye, since my resurrection, I've seen many things that are strange and unusual and stem from all sorts of tales. I'm wondering if the myth about a lady of the lake is true. And you're the person I know who's most equipped to help and best prepared to do so.
You want a sword?
I don't know about a sword, but some kind of guidance, at least.
Okay.
I mean, even before I found this out from the Russian dossier, we've been gathering people around us. We've been gathering strange beings around us, objects of power.
Are you looking for guidance from me? Or are we here to get something out of this lake that we've arrived at?
Yes, that's it precisely.
That's, 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 that's,
guidance from you if you have it, but I would appreciate it if maybe you could take a quick swim and see if perhaps there's any truth to that myth, as there appears to be truth to so many other myths, like the trees of the Hesperides and Salkas and vampires and it's a weird world I found myself in. I'm hoping this may make it perhaps a little less strange.
Well, if nothing else, I can say this. I've let no myth of Rusalka tell me how to be or what my limits were. I've just strove to make right what I can. And I don't do it by other people's rules. So don't let any story limit you on how you can act or who you can be.
Is this offering comfort? Or is there another move you think might be triggered here?
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. Let me take a look here. Yeah, let me roll Dreamer real quick. My Dreamer is a 0.
All right,
Easy.
flat roll.
Easy. 3.
So Jack, you can can kind of react however you'd wish to Skye's words, but I think like as she's saying that she doesn't let anyone tell her what to do. She feels a sharp pull on her leash, right? That ring of Dr. Thorne's is clearly undergoing incredible strain, to send her a message of some sort. And Skye, I'd love you to roll Take Serious Harm as Dr. Thorne reminds you that he still holds your leash.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, you're carrying around some stress here. So on a 10+, it's a doozy. You're going to choose 2 from the Take Serious Harm list.
Okay.
That's grit your teeth and push through, mark 2 stress. Something in you breaks, mark a condition, or give ground so the opposition gets a juicy opportunity.
It's going to have to be the first 2.
Oh man.
Because I can't give Rosalind. So, when it says mark 2 stress, if I run out of stress doing that, do I mark a condition as well?
I'm afraid so.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
So 4 stress and then a condition. Okay, so 2 conditions. Okay, just making sure. All right.
You know what? Seeing this, because I'm assuming this is visible, like the ring, like brightens or does something.
It's more that Skye visibly reacts. Like you don't know where the ring is with Dr. Thorne, but Skye just has this reaction as he's basically doing something to it to punish her, right? Like previously he's thrown it into a fire or done other things that have this effect on her. So Skye, you can tell us what it looks like on your end.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the conditions that'll help me. Well, maybe I should describe what happens, and then maybe that'll help me figure out the conditions that I get. But I've still got 2 conditions to mark, so don't let me forget that. um, I don't think Skye likes showing people what happens. I think she starts with her teeth, and they're grinding against each other as she tries to hold on, but the pain just gets worse and worse. And she just opens the door of the car and limps, and then eventually crawls her way towards the lake.
Just trying to get into the water.
Yeah, I'm already out of the car. And like a lot more spry than you'd think with somebody with a metal leg.
And if you're still puzzling over conditions, Skye, like that sounds like it could be twisted and compromised to me.
Perfect. Thank you for your help. That's exactly what I needed.
And I'm going to take your chin in my hand and look you in the eye and say, "Are you okay? Can you do this?"
I have to. She manages to push out of her mouth. And with the last bit of strength she can muster, she stands up again, kisses Jack on the cheek, and dives into the lake.
And I will yell after you. And if you find one, bring me a sword so I can cut his fucking head off. And I would like that to trigger. Oh, goodness gracious. What is that one? The rousing speech once more into the breach.
When you give a rousing speech to rally the troops. Skye, do you feel this cry of the heart against Dr. Thorne qualifies as a rousing speech in your ears? Because basically, I'm willing to be sold on it. I just want to make sure the characters are on the same page.
I mean, basically, I want to try to clear your stress track.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think if I can turn this pain into a mission, then it becomes something else. So I'll accept that.
Okay, Jack, roll plus dreamer.
Back to my usual rolls. That's a 13.
When you give a rousing speech to rally the troops, on a hit, everyone listening clears all stress, and the first PC to take up the charge rolls with advantage. So as we clarified last time, this just affects the people listening to Jack, but in that case, that's enough. Skye, you're clearing down from 4 down to 0 stress, and you can you would take advantage to following through on this. I guess my question is, are you simply kind of like diving into the lake in search of whatever mysteries might lie at the bottom of it?
Well, first and foremost, I'm trying to get to a place that's comfortable and that I don't have to show my pain.
Right.
So that's the first step. I took the speech to mean find Jack a weapon. So I don't necessarily know if it's in this lake or not, but once I've once I've gotten past it all, then I want to find a weapon. I don't know how. I don't know what supernatural thing I need to do, but I want to find something.
Let me put something on the table. You have a move, Tempest Caller. Mark a stressed call on your element to aid you. You can choose from the options. The element brings you something it thinks will help or comfort you. Would a weapon for Jack help or comfort you?
That would help or comfort me. Absolutely.
Nice. Then tell us what it looks like when you reemerge from this lake, kind of buoyed, as it were, by the water coming to assist you, because you have made up with the waters of Vienna, and whether this lake is directly connected to the Danube or not, we'll take it that a similar spirit pervades them, right? And so what does it look like as you reemerge, clutching this massive rusted sword from the bottom of the lake bed?
Well, I think we established before that I don't actually get wet, so I come out dry. The sword's dripping. I'm not. And I take the sword and I plunge it down into the earth, let it stand there for a bit. And I say, well, she didn't keep good care of it, Jack. But this is what I've got.
I look at you with a raised eyebrow. Who knew that someday I would be riding into battle on a flaming horse with a giant sword and the actual Lady of the Lake at my side?
I think John did when he wrote Revelation.
And that, with that excellent quip, I might just to telescope things, say, when you make your way back to the church, right, the CIA grunt will relay, right, that some nervous little guy turned up. I collared him, and he said he was bringing a message from a Dr. Thorne, who wants to meet you at the checkpoint, and he says he hopes you'll obey all the rules there.
Thank you. You may go now.
He doesn't quite know whether he's supposed to salute you.
Don't do that.
You stop him as he is clearly considering it. Excellent. I'm in just a minute. We'll probably take another break, but let me just check in and get a sense of where each of you want to be when we reunite, because we're coming towards the end of this whole thing. I want to make sure we hit some of the priority scenes, and Emilie, I take it you're going to have that chat with Victoria.
Yeah. Other than that, I do want to figure out a way to get her to either do Jack and Skye as well. We want to close out the entire shebang without at least interacting with them, even for just a little bit.
Well, you have a move now to just turn up unexpectedly in scenes.
Yeah, that's pretty convenient. So yeah, I think chatting with Victoria, I think that's just the main thing. So
we'll start with you then, so that after that
we'll figure out things.
We'll start with you then, so that after that you can, if you so desire, appear in other scenes. Joske, what are you thinking?
I mean, mostly I just want to be in scenes with other people. Like I'm happy to resolve that. I mean, I'm happy to like do something that works out the horrible failure of that last sequence. But I'm also happy to sort of like, sort of deal with that in epilogue. Like I have thoughts about how I could sort of, if not like where that can be part of the epilogue as opposed to something that takes place as the main action of the session. And mostly I want to hang out with, Skye, Jack, and Emilie some more. But especially the two I haven't been in scenes with yet.
So maybe we'll make sure that we'll make sure to bring the three of you together at the checkpoint when we return. Skye and Jack, I assume that the meeting with Dr. Thorne is a top priority. Anything else that you want to make sure happens?
I want to get my ring back, but
I mean, yeah, that's an interesting goal. We'll see how Dr. Thorne feels about that proposal. Jack,
Just call up the whole crew, make sure everybody's there. Whistle for Ushi. Make sure Misty's out back.
Oh man, Ghost Dog and Nightmare Horse all set.
Yep. Make sure Lena's there because, well, I made her certain oaths, certain promises.
Promise. Great.
I think I made a trip promise about Thorne as well. But I know I definitely made one to Lena. Lena gets to kill him.
I don't think Trip has a promise about Thorne. You gave him leverage on Yelena of the NKVD. So
okay,
but all right, let's take 10. Be back at 13 of sure, and we'll see how everything winds down. All right. Hello, hello. Are we all back? Great. Hey, everybody. Emilie, let's turn to you first. So you told Victoria we need to talk. She said, you know where to find me, presumably meaning draw a door and go to this dark but luxurious apartment we've seen her in. I guess my only question is, are you just meeting her there, or trying to sneak in without her noticing you at first, or any shenanigans going on here, or should we just pick up with the meeting beginning?
Let's just pick up with a meeting beginning.
Yeah, she's clearly been waiting for you. She has
I think
roasted grapes ready.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I think Emilie just takes one, and we'll just kind of casually say, "Have you talked to your friend Joske lately? I don't even know, but he's in a bit of a state."
Clearly, I didn't give him enough pearls to survive what the world was going to throw at him.
Yes, clearly. Well, just want to let you know that whatever business he's caught up with, well, it's catching up with him. Might catch up with you too.
Well, I appreciate the intelligence, Emilie. Joske is such a dear, but he is always getting in over his head, isn't he?
See, well, here's how I know that he never got into bed with you, because you actually treat him with some respect, or at least talk about him with some respect.
She arches an eyebrow. Emilie, what's this?
I think Emilie just pops the roasted grape in her mouth. It's just I'm just having thoughts about this. A lot of thoughts. Just they're all very discordant. They're all very all over the place.
Let me help you with that. You did beautiful work at the mansion. I never would have thought to bring the whole place down in ashes, but that just adds to the turmoil in the supernatural scene. With one more little push, it'll be absolute chaos, and then that'll be the perfect moment to seize what should have been mine a long time ago.
And then I get what you promised me.
Of course. Though if I recall correctly, you weren't sure you wanted to be the Duchess of Midnight.
It just seems a lot, isn't it? Sure, it comes with power, but that's a target you're putting on your back.
Well, we can work out the finer details whenever you'd like. There is a whole cornucopia of titles for the bestowal once this regime change is effected. She's smart.
What if you're always looking forward. That's wonderful about you. What if these second thoughts I'm having right now, what if they really get in the way, Victoria? important enough for you to help dismiss those thoughts?
So she cocks her head. I would like to know what you're angling for. Is there a move you're going for? Are you exerting leverage on Victoria? Like, what's the play here?
Yeah. The thing is, Emilie doesn't really want to kill her Franz. Yeah, he seems like a nice bloke.
Like, are you just forcing her hand to try to use leverage on you? Because then there's a procedure we can enact.
Yeah. I think she says, I just need some. I guess I just need a bit more of a push. You're asking quite a lot of me, Victoria. The checkpoint midnight, that's an important place. I can see why you need turmoil throwing in disarray, but
She
it's
puts
still.
her hand on her cheek and she says, "Let me paint you a picture. You're right. It is an important place. That's why it's the next domino that needs to fall. But once that space has been cleared, you can rebuild a checkpoint midnight of your own. Perhaps that's the title you've been searching for, proprietress of the new checkpoint midnight, after midnight itself has a change of ownership." And so I'm going to go ahead and say she's going to push on her leverage. She has the leverage over you. So the options are comply and take an XP, promise them something else you think they want, weasel out by giving them leverage you hold on someone else, brazen it out by marking a condition, and she's taking away the last option where you cut a deal. So the options are comply, promise, weasel out, or brazen it out.
Yeah. God, this is tough because that's a pretty sweet and enticing deal you're offering. Despite what
your conscience is buzzing.
Says. That's sad. Okay. I know what Emilie would say. I just need to figure out which one of these would fit that. I think Emilie will say even after all this time, I really hate how easy it seems to read me these days. You'll have your turmoil, Victoria, but it's going to be on my terms. Chaos is something I can easily sue, but I'll do it my way. After all, am I not the one who the CIA took hostage, laughed in their faces, and made them work for me?
So it sounds like you might be promising something else you think they want, but unless it gets more specific than that, it may end up just being brazening it out, since you're just saying leave it.
Yeah, it might be brazening it out. Basically, Emilie's trying to. It's a different kind of weaseling. In that Emily's trying to say, Victoria, I'll do it my way. It's just that, it won't be killing It won't be like directly killing someone. It's like, she can cause chaos some other way. She
Chaos
wants,
on shared
like,
terms?
Emily's trying to sell herself. Yes. If I need to like make a stand or something, I'll roll for this. Sure.
I mean, primarily it sounds like maybe you're brazening it out. In which case you're just marking a condition, since you're not giving in to the leverage exactly. You're trying to set your own agenda.
Yeah, I think I'll mark burned for that. Or yeah, sure, why not?
Works.
That's a lot of conditions. I just
yeah, she placed a hand on her cheek. She like draws her hand back and like looks at you a little more critically. She says, I see. Your own way of sowing chaos. Well, this should be entertaining at any rate. Let's see what you've got.
I think like Emilie would like stand up and kind of like look Victoria in the eye and say, like I said when we last met, this isn't going to be me fawning over your footsteps like before.
Yeah, she says kind of, it's hard to read the
and
emotion.
Emilie's just standing her ground.
Yeah, it's hard to read the emotion behind it, but she says, I can see that now. And I'm up to close the scene out there, unless there's something else Emilie wants to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. That's just what I needed, like for her to stand up to Victoria somehow.
Yeah. Then let's start at checkpoint midnight, because Skye, you received a message from Dr. Thorne, just saying kind of as far as you could tell, since it's passed on secondhand through this CIA grunt, but it sounds like he wants to meet and wants to talk at checkpoint midnight. Let's say sometime in the evening, right? Like there's a time for it when he expects to see you there, and he expects you to follow the rules of the checkpoint, which include no violence or plotting thereof, no using supernatural powers on other people within the checkpoint. How are you going to wait for him there, or do anything else to prepare for this? How Jack was with you as you get the message? Are you coordinating with him? What are you thinking? What's the play? And yeah.
Well, Jack, where do you want this to all go down?
Well, it may require the cafe to more or less close down for the evening, but although such things are unusual, it's not unheard of. And we can just pack it full of fun people like Lena and Timofey and myself and you. Joske, I'm sure, would love to be there. We've made a lot of friends recently. And I'm sure that most of them would be more than happy to make Mr. Thorne's acquaintance.
I understand all of that. Mm-hmm. Where do you want the murder to take place? Where are we killing him?
Oh, probably right outside when he leaves.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure. Yeah.
You want to be on a roof across the way with a sniper rifle?
No, I mean I can be if you need me to. That's fine. But this is a kind of a rules question, or like, so the question is: does packing the checkpoint with heavies, such that you can commit a murder immediately upon leaving it, it seems to obviously violate the spirit of the rules. Does it violate the letter?
My instinct is yes. It violates the spirit in a pretty strong way. Let's see the exact words. On
We
our
are not plotting violence there.
plotting it prior to
The plotting happens before. There's a first phase of execution of the plot takes place there, but the violence doesn't happen till afterwards. That's why it's like I think spirit-wise, I don't know, but letter it could be fine.
This sounds like an argument for increasing the turmoil of the checkpoint to me.
Just trying to help Emilie out here.
I'm totally okay with having Lena across the road with a sniper rifle to take him out when he leaves. We can have fewer people there. I don't particularly think we need to have everyone there. It's just
I guess
so we've assembled. It might be nice for all of us to sit at a table, perhaps around one.
I guess just where I'm coming from is the idea that the checkpoint is an integral plot in a murder plan, piece in a murder plan, like feels very strongly as if it's like it's not just about the number of people. Like it's just very, very strongly like, yeah, technically we're not plotting murder or committing violence directly on the premises, but like, and that can be fine. Like again, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be okay, but I just think we should recognize what's happening there in terms of like the checkpoint is not a haven if it's the bait for a trap. That's I guess and maybe that's
I agree
where we're at.
the to do what they'd like to do, and then we'll see. We'll see what consequences roll out from there, right? So it sounds like part of the plan is, correct me if I'm wrong, to convince patrons who are not part of this to vacate the checkpoint earlier, so that you kind of feel like you've got everyone in the checkpoint on your side. Does that track with what you're thinking about this?
Yes.
And I think it does make sense to have Lena outside and maybe have Ushi and Misty also outside.
Kind of ready to go.
Well, I mean, Ushi's a good dog. I can whisper a few things to Ushi and make sure that she knows that she's to help Lena. She can run Thorne down. Lena's quite competent. She can summon lightning and whatnot. She can fry him if necessary.
All right.
And I did promise her the kill.
You did promise her the kill. It's true. And Skye, what's your perspective on all this? Given that there's something important you kind of something important Dr. Thorne still holds over you.
Ever since Jack saved me from Brant the first time at the flaving warehouse, it's been my understanding that he's going to track Dr. Thorne down and kill him. And that's all fine and good, but I'm trying to negotiate for Rosalind in such a way that leaves her safe and potentially happy. I would really rather the murder take place elsewhere. But if it's got to happen there, it's got to happen there. So I guess I'm going in and I'm going to try to obey the checkpoint's guidelines. And if I can't, then I can't.
All right. And Joske, are like, what's the like? I guess Jack, do you approach Joske and say, "Hey, you want in on a little murder?" Like, what's the?
Yeah, like I am this Jesse speaking. I am here and ready to help however you folks want.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the way that I pitch it is Skye needs our help.
I was there yesterday. What do I need to do?
Just be there. Be yourself. Don't act as he does, because if he acts, then he violates the conditions of the ceasefire that exists at Checkpoint Midnight. He if he uses his ring on her, if he exerts it, then he's broken that pact. And well, Herr Franz is. We've had a discussion, as you know.
I was about to ask if you let Herr Franz know this is happening, because
He may be none too pleased with it.
I could give two shits what he thinks. You know, if someone I cared about wanted me to put a bullet in his head, I'd do that too.
Wow.
But, you know,
Victoria really should have asked you.
I don't know that I care enough about Victoria for that, though. That's a. But yeah, but you know, Herr Franz isn't my friend, and Skye is. If this is what we need to do, then this is what we need to do. And I go back to my sort of like corner where I continue mainlining highly caffeinated beverages, trying desperately to stay awake.
And you know, that is a good point. I do actually need to, and we can just kind of hand wave that we've talked with Herr Franz to let him know what's going to happen.
I see. You've told Herr Franz that you're meeting with someone at Checkpoint Midnight, and you expect to kill them immediately afterwards? Like, what exactly do you tell him?
I tell him that we've found the person who raised all these revenants, that he held his daughter in some sort of suspended animation, that he routinely tortures Skye through magical means, that we do not anticipate anything to happen on the grounds at Checkpoint Midnight, but he has shown an inability to refrain from torturing Skye, and that there is a ring that he wears, and he uses it to torment her. And if he does so, that's breaking the rules of Checkpoint Midnight. So, but it's the only place in town where he will agree to meet to talk to Skye about his daughter, who Skye managed to heal and rescue.
So I think Herr Franz's response is, you can talk to anyone you want in Checkpoint Midnight, and then he just reiterates verbatim the rules of the checkpoint. He says, Given our understanding of the importance of this place, Jack, I trust you're keeping these in mind.
In as much as I can, but this person is responsible for a vast amount of suffering.
So are you, Jack. So am I. Everyone in this checkpoint has a past.
Yes. But at least when most of us die, we're left dead and not brought back to suffer more.
I think we can leave it at that. He's made his position clear, and let's get to this meeting. Jack, Skye, are the two of you like waiting at a table? What's the you kind of have Joske as backup, right? Like he's in the checkpoint, but not at the same table.
Yeah, like maybe wherever you sort of set up, I set up like inside of my chair, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there's mirrors on the walls, just in case those should prove to be relevant. So Joske at his accustomed chair, Jack and Skye set up at a table. Skye just, I feel like at some point, in the lead up, you get like several notes delivered to you of people who have been trying to meet you at the checkpoint, and you can file those away for later. But it's clear that Yelena and Val both have things they want to discuss with you, urgently. They've written in various semi-coded ways.
Yay!
But at precisely the appointed time, for he's nothing if not punctual, the checkpoint door opens and a middle-aged man with a serious face walks in. Previously we'd seen a little question mark image for Dr. Thorne, but since we're finally getting FaceTime, this man, who in the movie adaptation is played by Willem Dafoe, approaches the table, pulls out the chair, sits down, and says, "Very well, let's talk." And he looks at you, Skye. He says, "On the one hand, you have been the most recalcitrant creation I've ever had to deal with. Save, I suppose," then he turns to Jack, "for this one, Mr. Hardesty. But you went even farther when you plucked my Rose from my care and stole her away, Dr. McTaggart. But now I understand you've woken her up. For which I must congratulate you. I underestimated your medical mind when I turned you into a killing machine."
Let's get to brass tacks. What does Rosalind have to look forward to if she comes back to you?
My daughter will have everything that a man of genius and means can provide. She is the apple of my eye, and I will be grateful to be reunited with her at last.
And she will be ever in danger because your machinations and murder continue?
She needn't be, if you and your friends will agree to leave me in peace. I will leave this city. You will no longer need to hear of me. I can pursue my research elsewhere. And if you promise, and he pulls from his jacket a piece of paper and a pen, and set your names to it, that I and my daughter will be left to live in peace, then, well, you needn't worry for her, and I can relinquish the ring I hold over you." What do you say?
I look to Jack.
Your research is already done. You will raise no more abominations.
Is that what you think you are, Jack? You are a work of art. I'm so sorry you can't appreciate the gift you've been given.
Normally, one asks before giving a gift such as this to see if it's wanted.
Oh, Jack, you really don't remember. You volunteered. And he kind of, he looks a little sad looking at you.
Well, for what it's worth, I volunteered to be here too.
He looks back and forth between Jack and Skye, waiting for an answer to his offer or a counter proposal.
As I said, your research is done. You will not continue it elsewhere.
But you will leave.
With Rosamond?
With Rosalind. I have some leverage on him.
It's true. You partially because you stole and then revived his daughter.
Don't.
Oh, you used that before?
I used it. No. I got leverage on this. I got leverage on his daughter, not leverage on him. Shoot. Oh well.
No, I mean, look, there are lots of moves in this game. You could try to fast talk him. You could try to decipher him to find some other way to get leverage, right? Like the
I got an interesting one for you.
All right.
I'm listening.
Listen, Thorne. If I had a daughter and she fell ill, I would move heaven and earth to save her.
Then you understand.
Even before I knew that heaven actually existed, even before I knew that hell was real. So, while I can understand why you did it, I don't have to agree with what you did.
I don't need you to agree with me. I just need you to sign.
I'm offering comfort and support.
I see. Offer comfort to someone willing to listen. He came here to talk. All
and
right.
I brought up his daughter and said, if I had a daughter, I'd move heaven and earth. So it's hitting him in his sweet spot.
Go ahead and roll plus Dreamer to comfort Dr. Thorne.
I'd like to roll with my code word if I could.
Which code name are you turning to here?
I'm thinking my Russian one.
Uh-huh. So in that case, you give an extra leverage to Lena, and you say how you're relying in some way on orders or training or your connection to the NKVD.
Because I know I am able to offer this comfort and support. I'm able to show this mercy because I know that Lena is outside waiting in the dark with Ushi to follow him. And, well, like I told her, she gets the kill.
Roll plus troop.
10 on the dice, +3.
It's a 13. Yeah, he softens a little bit. Like, it's clear he wasn't expecting, any sympathy from these wayward creations of his. You take leverage on Dr. Thorne, and he'll credit you for supporting them. Yeah.
And I will clear a condition. I will have leverage on Thorne, and quite frankly, is it possible to give leverage to somebody?
Just to give leverage to another character?
Yes.
I don't see why not. You just want to hand it to Skye?
Oh, absolutely.
Go for it. And just to put the button on it, Thorne says, "We may never fully understand one another, but at least you know. I'm no more a monster than you are, just a man trying to make his way in this world with the gifts I've been given." And he seems a touch comforted by by your words, Jack. Like, at least in his mind, there's some sort of a new rapport, a new understanding there.
Oh God, I can't believe I'm. Alexei,
Yes.
I hate to do this, but I kind of gotta.
What exactly is it that you're thinking here?
I want to recruit him to pursue a lost cause.
So that hits a release move, and you can try to do that. I think that will take a move of some sort to
Yeah.
What is that? What do you think that looks like, Jack?
Herr Franz here runs this remarkable establishment where the strange and the weird and the unusual can gather, along with the normal folk of Vienna. And over the past little bit, he's come to understand how unique his position is between the great powers. And he's come to understand that the artifacts that exist in this world can't fall to one side or another. There's already too much tension with nuclear weapons and with spycraft, and every advance gives somebody an itchy trigger finger. So we're trying to maintain the balance of power by ensuring that no one has too much of it, and that there is a fulcrum. The United States and the Soviet Union may sit on their seesaw, but they'll balance on the checkpoint. You've done monstrous things.
Very monstrous things.
We've basically formed something of an army around this place. You could be useful in that. Not in research, not in creating more abominations like me, but in preserving this delicate balance. Because I'm assuming you'd like to see your daughter live to a ripe old age and not be incinerated, not be burned to ash in the brilliant white light of a bomb.
All right. You're getting under his skin. It's possible I'll have you make a roll in a moment, but I want to check in. Skye, what is your reaction to all this? Especially to Jack, putting out this possibility of Dr. Thorne joining the crew.
I hate to do it, but I don't think she can stand it any longer. Like she's taken a lot of suffering and put it down and pushed it down and pushed it down and pushed it down to meet with this man and to give him an option where he gets to live. And I don't think she can take it anymore. I think she's going to stand up and pull a gun.
Oh my goodness. Are you just like, are you threatening him or are you shooting him? The hour is growing late. Feel free to
Yeah, I think she's going to shoot him. I think she's going to take her one opportunity for him to be vulnerable in front of her. Like it's not what she wanted, but she can't take that. I'm sorry, Jack or Puckett. I'm sorry.
No.
No, that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of like sitting here, as a player, I want to kill the motherfucker. As Jack, it's like, I think Jack is like kind of trying to
make friends with the devil, and I just can't have that.
Can't have that.
So you're the words that she says. You're trying to make friends with the devil, and that I cannot abide that.
Here's my only question, Jack. Are you in? If Skye gets up, pulls a gun, and pulls the trigger, are you interfering or are you just letting that play out? Because I'm probably going to have Skye roll resort to violence. But the question is,
I am not going to mechanically interfere, but I'll probably stand up and say something like, "No."
Great. So it's saying no. Joske, you're going to help.
Yeah, and I think I help by putting my gun on Herr Franz.
Oh.
Right. And I think, basically, this is just to prevent any interference from that end.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, Herr Franz, but I know it's against the rules, but some things are more important than rules.
Mark of stress.
Yep.
Skye,
that's my last stress there.
You're rolling to resort to violence, and you've taken advantage on it.
Sweet. I got double advantage. Because I had advantage from earlier with the sword.
Wait. Oh, yeah, I guess you do.
It's okay. I like the fiction of it all.
I'm happy for it not to. I'm happy not to take the stress and have it just be a fictional play that prevents that.
There's nothing that prevents you from having double advantage and just rolling like 4 dice.
Oh really?
I'll take that. I think we can do it. Because
this is the first roll after Lady in the Lake, after that whole Lady in the Lake thing, isn't it?
Yes, that's the extra advantage here. Yeah.
Okay.
Taking the +2.
That's a 13.
You get to pick 2 options from the resort to violence list, and tell me, like, where are you shooting him? Like, is this a headshot, or do you want to him to hear something more from you before
I think these are gut shots.
Oh man.
Like she wants him to suffer. Choose 2. I avoid their blow.
And
I take something from them. I get my ring back.
Yeah. So like you shoot him a couple times, and like the chair tips back. There's a gasp from Herr Franz, and then Joska's on him. And Dr. Thorne is lying on the floor of the checkpoint, blood pooling around him. I think if you just like fish around, and like you can like pull up the like chain he's wearing around his neck with your ring on it, right?
And his blood on it. Yep.
Obviously, his blood's everywhere, right? And he says, "Idiot, we could have made a deal. Now, you've doomed yourself and all your friends." And he just whistles, right? And this sound echoes all through this place, and there's a sound from above of enormous wing beats, and I think we pull back to the like exterior of Checkpoint Midnight, and we see kind of from the dark sky a deeper darkness descending as what is clearly a dragon is landing on the checkpoint, and it is a decaying beast, right? Bits of its skin are sloughing off, and its bones are partially visible. This is Dr. Thorne's last weapon, an undead dragon. Emilie, just to check, do you want to to like turn up? Do you want to be part of this as it goes down?
Yeah, I think this is the moment to show up. I mean, cards of the table, she was bluffing to Victoria. She has no idea what she was going to do to cause chaos, but apparently she didn't need to do anything. I am willing to roll for her to show up unexpectedly.
Nice. That's your
probably
through the power of winter.
Yes. So the move says you're going to appear in a scene or situation suddenly. When you do, roll plus Fable. Just checking to see if that was the one I hit with a condition. Nope. On a hit, explain what part of the environment was secretly cloaking you and how long you were lurking there. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. We'll roll first, and then we'll figure out where she was hiding if it hits. I think I will actually use my code name. The one that's the Russian one, because I got this from Milashka.
Right. Milashka takes an additional leverage. Yes. Much good may it do her.
Yeah. I mean, come on, we're wrapping up. What's that gonna do? And yeah, the way Emilie knows is because maybe a lot of things passed through when they kissed. Knowledge, apparently. So I'm gonna roll that. Okay, cool. Thanks, thanks, Milashka. That's a 9. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you choose 1. Wow. Okay. Ooh, they're all pretty good. I don't know what promise I had to make.
Yeah, I mean, if
I think.
Go ahead. Tell me what you pick.
Yeah. Let me see. What's my stress doing? Stress is fine. I think just because it seems more. I think Emilie just got here, so there won't be an observation, so I won't mark a stress. I think what this looks like is like on like the storefront, kind of like outside the checkpoint, not in the checkpoint. because Emilie wasn't going to go out that brazen. I think the glass just kind of like frosts quite a bit. And when Emilie's stepping out, she's having an argument with Constance, being like, okay, I have to work on this apparently pretty girls offering me innumerable power weakness you're telling me about. I'm sorry, as just and she steps out. What
and
the
the,
fuck?
you know,
There's a
dead body.
track.
Yeah, and just just to go with, you know, you had to make a promise to some part of the built environment is like, perhaps as you're passing through, you hear just the checkpoint itself calling you to promise to defend it.
Does that mean the checkpoint gets leverage on?
It just means that it feels you owe it, right? Dragon descending, Dr. Thorne, you know, dying, and Emilie putting in this appearance. I think we do need to like roll this into epilogues. So basically, for each of us, let's just, you know, give a like closing image from, you know, this insanity here, right? And then we'll go back around for what it looked for, you know, more of the like traditional like what comes next epilogue, right? But just so we get a sense of like what all the operatives are doing as this madness is unfolding, and, you know, the checkpoint itself might become, you know, permanently unsafe. I'd love to get an image from each of you of what your operative's doing there before we hear our kind of final epilogues. So I'm going to go back across this character keeper. Joske, what do we see you doing in the midst of this craziness?
I mean, I think my key thing here is I'm covering Skye and following her lead here. You know, this is not my op. And my feeling was sort of like, I'm here to back you up. I backed you up on that shot. Now, like, I'll back you up on the way out. And if you want me to take point, I can do that too. But like, I'm not. I've sort of, and you know, there's a sort of sad as we make our way out. However, we make our way out. You can see that there's sort of like a wistful look, as I know that regardless of what happens with this dragon, I am never going to be welcome again in Checkpoint Midnight.
I think that's true. Skye, what do we see from you in this you know, kind of cliffhanger montage?
I think Skye turns quickly to a place where a sword had been hidden. She throws it to Jack, and she turns with her gun, and she says, "One last lost cause."
Emilie, what do you do in the midst of all this?
Yeah, I think the main thing is getting what Emily's like. Her aim is to get to her friends, plus Joske. And I think she sees that they're getting up to fight, and she figures, well, the best place is probably going to be to put them in between her and the dragon. So I think when she kind of like, I think like at first she was like scared because what the fuck, there's a dragon. But when she sees like Skye and Jack ready to like kick ass and getting there, I think she feels a bit better. The odds are not as bad as she thinks. So yeah, I think like, she just gets like to their side. Oh, good.
She's gonna help in this fight. She's gonna help fight the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, checkpoint looks fucked. She'll ask about that. I think she'll just like reach up to the two and just like, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you what the fuck is going on.
Jack, what do we see in this part of our epilogue as we just get our montage here?
I think you see Lena lining up a kill shot
Hmm.
on Thorne.
Just to make sure you don't leave that promise unfulfilled.
And you hear Jack whistle. And as he's running, Nightmare runs up outside. He jumps on Nightmare's back, and Nightmare proceeds to run up the building with Jack wielding this rusty claymore that Skye hauled out of the lake.
Nice. So knight versus dragon.
Yep. And it's a typical thing, like as with each clop of Misty's hooves, because why wouldn't a nightmare be named Misty?
Yeah.
You see some of the rust fall away, and you start to see the gleaming steel beneath. And by the time you get to the roof, it's this ornately, you can see like this ornate crafting. It's been restored to what it was when it was originally forged. Yeah. And it's, literally once more into the breach.
Absolutely. Let's turn now, leaving viewers wanting more from this extremely epic final confrontation. Let's turn to further in the future, what hints we see of these operatives. It sure seems like Checkpoint Midnight will no longer be the safe haven for these four at least. I mean, maybe Emilie can make her way back in there. She wasn't involved in the murder, but what becomes of them going forward? We know a little bit about. We have a sort of a sense of where you might go from the fact that Jack, you were going to try to retire to safety by playing the factions against each other, and Joske, I think you chose to retire your character as a Western asset, but for Emilie and Skye, things are still like fairly open, and we can, they can be. You can give me a sense of who they're working for more, or what game they're in the midst of, as we see a kind of an epilogue for these characters. So no pressure, but let's move back along the character keeper. Jack, what would we see as a final epilogue for you?
It's 2020.
Wow.
And you see a nondescript man sitting in a coffee shop with a laptop, cup of coffee, newspaper. And he reads an email. And the subject line is, "I need help." And the man whistles, and a strange dog runs up. He says, "Come along, Gushi. There's work to do."
Not resting after all, but still fighting the good fight. Emilie, what would we see as an epilogue for you?
Yeah. I think we kind of like caught her still in the middle of trying to play off both ends. I think we get a shot of Emilie holding court in some darker establishment. This is clearly not Checkpoint Midnight. But it's like in some other back alley, not back alley, but like it's a more exclusive kind of like place. It's it's more of like a club, that sort of thing. A lot of like posh furniture, curtains are drawn, and she's talking to some folks who kind of look unsavory, like folks who aren't really with either side of the Cold War, but could go for either.
Operatives.
Yeah. And she's talking about how the checkpoint is a mess. And how it's naive to like imagine letting people just meet there and being so free with that. I think that's kind of like what she's talking to, like all these like bunch of folks, these other contacts. And when she's done talking, she like retreats to like more private kind of like office, and there's a ladybug there, and they argue, and they pick her because to Emilie, at the very least, things might be a bit more complicated having to like appease, because Constance is like one of many people she has to appease now. Yes. As she's still playing all these people, but it's worth it for a little bit of ease of mind, I guess.
Still playing the game, but just taking a subtler approach than Victoria was pushing you towards, it sounds like.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, who knows if she's successful.
Skye, what would we see for an epilogue? Thorne is dead. You got this bloodstained ring.
Yeah, but we all remember the fact that I don't know what to do without someone telling me what to do. Like, I need that guidance. I would love to be able to describe this floridly, but we're so past the time. What I will say is I have a new leash holder.
What?
Her name is Victoria, and she lets me know that she needs me by giving me pleasure through the ring and not pain. And there's a little notebook with a name in it.
What a choice. Victoria with the ring. That is terrifying. Joske, what do we see in an epilogue for you?
I wonder if the first scene is me brokering that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Skye's relationship with Victoria was.
Non-existent. This is a new connection.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's sort of like the one of Skye's closing scene shots in the montage, but my first one is maybe not even brokering it, just introducing you at a party or over a drink, and then walking away. And then I think it's I'm retiring as an American asset. I don't know that we get to see my retirement, but I think it's sort of, after this debacle, we both have to deal with the fallout, the failure of that siege, and also just how deeply in it I am with Knight and the Americans, whom for me functionally are the same thing, I think. So I think there's like a shot of me arguing with Skilla, right? Like shouting at her how we need to devote more resources, and how she's saying it's already cost us so much, you have to get something back for us first.
Right.
Right. A shot of me, a shot of Spartak keeling over, right? Who is my Russian handler. I think that's the first hit. And then I think it's sort of like alternating between. Oh fuck! Sorry, my head just went to such a dark place and I can't do it. But sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
But there's sort of like this ongoing battle in Joske's life where he's not young but he's not old at this point. I think we put him in his late 30s, mid 30s. Trying to remember the math on that. It doesn't matter. And you see him sort of like alternating between doing jobs for Knight and the Americans, and they're not always the same, but there's a lot of overlap. And I think there's maybe like a couple of like you get these sort of like newspaper headlines, right?
Oh, yeah.
That sort of like of different news of different news events, right? We could throw in the Kennedy assassination in there if we want to. If we want to play with the genre a little bit, right? That's a standard thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but we do finally get to see him confronting that elf that we saw out of the and I think out of Anna Seidler's body, and you can tell from the shot that it's in the nightmare realm, and that's it, right? There's a confrontation, we don't know its resolution.
So yeah, right. The finally face to face.
Yeah.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the last few kind of epilogue shots for just to tease juicy things for NPCs is we see like at the CIA a big fancy office with a nameplate on a desk, and there someone's just like collecting a bunch, putting it in a box, and the nameplate, George Dixon is on the top of that box, as he's clearly retiring in some manner or other as Bradley Bushwick IV, aka Trip, moves into this corner office. Something's gone his way, such that he's been moving on up. In Vienna, at Ashley's grave, we see Val Atkinson has some potion, right? And she pours it out on the ground, and the water glistens, and after she walks away, the earth sort of stirs just a tad, but we don't see anything more. And then we see kind of Checkpoint Midnight itself. People keep coming, but there are some people who aren't welcome there anymore. Business is strained, and as the Cold War continues, it becomes harder and harder for the checkpoint to maintain any neutrality, especially with that bit of red on the ground that no one can quite clean up after that one time. But we see making their way slowly out of Vienna, two figures, one a hulking pale creature, and the other a young woman. It seems Rosamund Thorne is setting off to make her own way in the world, but her kind of one last creation of her father's is coming with her. Brant, the unburied, is still devoted to her. And that's what I've got. Checkpoint Midnight, everyone. Thank you for playing. Call that a wrap on a season and a quarterly. Thanks to anyone who's been hanging along and joining us for this. Keep your eyes out. I'm sure there'll be more Checkpoint Midnight to come, but for these characters and this Vienna, we're bringing the saga to a close. Good night. Stay safe out there, and thanks for hanging out with us.